Happy New Year, everyone. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says tackling the crime rate will remain a top priority for the government. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said that tackling the crime rate will remain a top priority for the government, with legislative changes coming in this new year. In his New Year's message, Mr. Holness asserted that there have been positive results in the fight against crime arising from the imposition of the state of emergency and changes to the Firearms Act. He also added that changes to the law will reduce the occurrence of certain criminals escaping prosecution. And of course, we have been hearing this now for about 30 years, so this is just stale news. And they have not announced the grand total for murders yet, but as at December 8 of 2022, they had flung out a total of 1,421 murders. But we think at the end of December 31, 2022, the true total should be more than 1,600. Meanwhile, 3 people died in a 3-vehicle collision in Falmouth in Trelawney on New Year's Eve. The incident occurred along the Wilshire Main Road shortly before midnight, and it involved a Toyota, a Nissan Tiida, and a Toyota Axia motor car. The victims were 22-year-old female office clerk and 2 men aged 19 and 24. Road fatalities for 2022 in Jamaica had reached 483 on Saturday, which was the last day of the year. As it stands, this is 6 lower than the number of road fatalities for 2021. And the old year went out with several murders, and the new year came in with several more being shot and killed. Between Saturday and Sunday, at least 9 people were killed by the gun, and these stories will be carried as we move along. And during a series of operations on Saturday night and Sunday morning, members of the security forces seized 3 illegal guns and more than 80 rounds of ammunition. The 3 illegal guns were seized during several joint police military operations in Mount Salem, Glendevon, and Barnett Street in Montego Bay and St. James on Saturday night. 30 rounds of ammunition were also seized, and 1 man was arrested. In another operation conducted along Ambrook Lane off Hagley Park Road in Kingston, members of the security forces seized 50 assorted rounds of ammunition as well. No one was arrested. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is now reporting that several persons were shot and injured during illegal New Year's Eve gun salutes on Sunday morning. In a tweet, JCF spokesman Dennis Brooks disclosed that at least 4 people, including a teenager watching fireworks, were shot. An elderly woman who was asleep in her bed was also wounded as a result of one of those illegal New Year's gun salutes. Indicom is now probing an incident in which a man was shot by an off-duty policeman along the Palisades Main Road in St. Andrew on Sunday morning, and it's reported that the policeman and his mother were among persons watching fireworks along the airport road when she got into a dispute with an individual, and it's alleged that the man used his vehicle to hit down the elderly woman. The policeman reportedly reacted in defense of his mother, and it's further alleged that the man attempted to use the vehicle to hit the policeman as well, who in response drew his gun and opened fire. The man was shot and is now in hospital. 3 persons were shot by members of the security forces yesterday. A suspect was shot dead during a reported confrontation with members of the military in Olympic Gardens, St. Andrews Sunday morning. The suspect was fatally shot shortly after midnight during a confrontation on Balcombe Road. 2 illegal guns and 12 rounds of ammunition were reportedly seized. And another suspect was fatally shot during a confrontation with a military team in Admiraltown, West Kingston, Sunday morning as well. He has been identified as Christopher Spence, and it's alleged that an illegal gun with several rounds of ammunition was taken from him. A 3rd suspect was shot by members of the military in Denham Town, but no details have been provided as yet. Meanwhile, members of the security forces were kept busy last night into this morning following a number of shootings and murders. 3 persons were fatally shot during an attack in Bull Bay in St. Andrew last night. The deceased have been identified as 68-year-old Mason Isaac Ashton and 39-year-old construction worker Alric Ashton, both of Taylorland in 9 Miles in Bull Bay. The 3rd victim is known only by his alias Narco. A statement from the Corporate Communications Unit said about 9:15 p.m. the men were traveling in a Toyota Starlet motorcar along the Cane River Main Road when gunmen opened fire on the vehicle, hitting all 3 men in the vehicle. The attackers escaped on foot in the area. The motorcar subsequently crashed into a wall. The police were alerted, and on their arrival, the bodies were seen with multiple gunshot wounds. And it is said that an ongoing gang conflict has led to the murder of several persons, in the area last week. Meanwhile, the St. Catherine South Police are probing the fatal shooting of a taxi operator along the Helsha Main Road yesterday morning. The driver was found dead in his vehicle with bullet wounds sometime after 8 o'clock. A man was killed and a woman wounded in a shooting incident in Clarendon yesterday evening. The deceased is Michael Marlin, otherwise called Big Head, a 38-year-old contractor of Homestead in Spanish Town. According to reports, Marlin and a female passenger were traveling in a gray Toyota Wish motor car. On reaching the Dampy Main Road in Clarendon, Marlin stopped in front of a gray motor car that was parked along the roadway with two men aboard. One of the men reportedly exited that car, approached Marlin, and spoke to him. Both men exchanged items, and following that, Marlin made a phone call and then handed the phone to the other man. When the man returned the phone, he pulled a gun and shot Marlin. His accomplice also fired at Marlin as well. Marlin ran and fell, but his attackers who were in pursuit shot him again before returning to their motorcar and driving away. The Longville Park police who were on patrol responded and then took him to the Mapen Hospital. He was pronounced dead and the woman was treated for gunshot wounds. Under Premier League leaders, Mount Pleasant FA extended their winning run in the Jamaica Premier League on Sunday, battering Montego Bay United 5-1 at Draxall in St. Anne for a fifth straight win. Annette Gardens, meantime, also scored 5 goals on Sunday, spanking promoted Chapelton Maroons 5-0 at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex in Kingston, while there were also wins for Cavaliers and Waterhouse. Colin Anderson scored a hat-trick to lead Cavaliers to a 3-0 win over Tivoli Gardens, with goals in the 25th, the 43rd, and in time added on, while Waterhouse FC got their third win of the season, edging Falkland 1-0 at Draxall thanks to a 7th-minute goal from Denario Thomas. Humber Lions had their 3-game winning run snapped after they played out a 0-0 draw in their Clarendon derby against Sevier United. Mount Pleasant are now on 20 points, 4 more than second-place Cavalier, who are on 16. Defending champions Harborview, who play this evening, are in third place on 15 points, followed by Annette Gardens and Humber Lions both on 14, with Montego Bay United in 6th place on 12 points. Over into the St. James Major League, Cambridge FC took over 4th place in the St. James FA Major League after beating winless Montego Bay Boys Club 4-1 in their return round game at the UDC Field on Friday. Cambridge FC moved into a semi-final spot as they are tied with 3rd place Lilliput Rovers on 16 points, both from 9 games. And despite losing their first game of the season, on Thursday 2-0 to Flankers, Reggae Youths are still in the lead on 22 points, 2 more than Flanker, with Granville FC in 5th place on 13 points. Height FC were officially eliminated from the semi-final contention after Cambridge FC victory, joining Montego Bay Boys Club as teams that cannot advance past the first round. And that's going to be news and sports on your favorite community radio. My name is Mikey Bones. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I gone.